Oh, hey, welcome back. If your bill got out of policy committee, the most common next step is the Fiscal Committee. Fiscal Committee is where bills go if they cost money. Now, we are in the short session, but anything that costs money still probably goes to a Fiscal Committee. The Fiscal Committees can be the Ways and Means Committee in the Senate, the Appropriations Committee in the House, the Capital Budget Committee in the House, and the Transportation Committees in both chambers. Those are the Fiscal Committees. And what they're supposed to do is decide if they want to spend money on the great idea that came out of the Policy Committee. There's lots of things that are great ideas that the state decides it cannot or chooses not to afford. And one of the reasons that we have the Fiscal Committees after the Policy Committees is that the Policy Committee folks get very excited about their ideas, and they don't worry so much about how much it costs. For example, maybe the Education Committee decides that every student should get a laptop and a big screen to attach it to and a high-speed internet connection. That sounds great, right? Well, that's going to cost a bunch of money. So they may pass it out of the Policy Committee, and then it would go to the Fiscal Committee, and the Fiscal Committee would say, this is a great idea, but it's going to cost $1 billion that we don't have right now. So maybe we're not going to do all of that, or maybe we're just going to do part of that, or maybe we're not going to do any of that. All of those are possibilities in the Fiscal Committee. But they'd have to decide not just what to spend current money on, they also have to decide how to raise money, raising money through fees or taxes, because that's how the legislature gets its money, is with fees and taxes. And they can raise or lower those as they see fit, and they commonly do. They can decide, you know what, this is such a good idea that we're going to do it, and we're going to fund it with a fee. It's very common, and you may not think of this, that a lot of the groups that want the idea are actually okay with the fee. For example, maybe you have fishermen that want improvements to a dock, and they say, we want the state to take care of all these docks, and we're willing to pay $5 docking fees every time we bring a boat there and use that money to build a dock. That's very common. You might not think that anybody would come in and say, hey, please raise my taxes. But it actually does happen, and that's a common example of how it happens. But one way or another, everything has got to be paid for. Unlike another Washington where they can print money and they can run deficits, our state cannot do that. Our budget must balance. Everything we spend must be accounted for and paid for, and that happens in the Fiscal Committees. So if you got a great idea, make sure you got a way to pay for it. Because if you don't, you're going to run into trouble with them.